How you doing? Yes? It's hard to follow that, you guys. I don't know how to come out and be all like, yes, when we're crying backstage. Well, we're here for the very last interview for 7 Minutes in Heaven with the Scientists Live. Are you enjoying the research so far? Are you getting some ideas for your own work? Yes? Troy, what do you think of the research so far?
Yeah, it's been amazing, and we've got that classic thing in scientists where we have a diversity of findings, right? And so we always want to care about diversity of findings, like we want to care about all the emotions. But we've seen all the emotions.
Did you get over here?
All the emotions. But what we've seen here today is actually really interesting between all the talks. It's not just a diversity of findings, but a diversity of methodologies. Mm-hmm. So we get the classic correlational and experimental with Chelsea Shine. Then we're getting Hannah Shepard, and we're getting networks, and we're getting interventions.
In the field.
Yes, and now we're gonna get intersectionality
and ethnography.
And we're going to get all that. And so understanding diversity within fields, all scientists aren't the same, and there are many different ways to learn from us. So I'm pretty excited, and I think it might be time for one last pose.
So are you ready?
Yep, ready? Round
3!
If you're feeling lost, and you don't know what to do, you need someone to trust, someone to talk to. Spend 7 minutes in heaven with scientists, because everyone is a little bit curious.
All right. From the University of Houston, Erica Ciszek.
Are you ready to get deep real quick?
So ready.
Okay. What are you passionate about?
Okay, so 2 big things: strategic communication and social change, just like everyone else in the room, right? My journey starts, though, in 2010. I had been in advertising, public relations. I was a quantoid, okay? I was crunching data, but not finding real meaning in the things I was doing. So I decided to pursue something else. So I'm driving cross country with my wife, 2010, starting grad school in the fall. And then in June, July, September, and October, we have a series of young gay teens that take their lives. And those suicides become really public, covered by the media. And then also we have Dan Savage, a sex columnist and an activist, make a video that goes viral, which results in a social movement, which results in a nonprofit organization. And so that's really the moment that sort of frames who I am as an individual, as a queer person driving across country on this new journey into academia. And so that's really what kind of founded my areas of inquiry right now, are social change activism and strategic communication.
So how do those big issues and your big passions for them link to your big research questions?
Good question. So I look at activists, number one, as strategic communicators. So how are social movements, how are people on the ground utilizing tools that we typically deem for stratcom people, right? Tools advertisers, public relations practitioners use, whether it's new media, social media, digital spaces, or also traditional and face-to-face communication. Secondly, I also look at how organizations are functioning as social change agents, right? How are your PR team, how are your advertising, your creative folk, your marketers, your CEOs functioning internally as change agents? So yeah.
And so you've got the big questions, you've got your focus. How are we going to study this?
How are we going to study this? Okay, so within the body of my particular paper, I did 40 interviews with activists over the course of 4 years, and activists over 15 different countries that are part of the It Gets Better movement internationally and affiliate networks around. So this is 4 years worth of conversations, friendships developed in really different ways than the previous scholars that talked on stage. My research is much more ethnographic and qualitative and critical and cultural in nature.
So you did this ethnographic study where you follow these activists, 40 activists over 4 years. And what did you find after following them for quite quite some time.
Yeah. So I have two sort of main findings, okay? Number one focuses on the activists themselves. Activists are utilizing global energy and transnational movement power in local ways that have global reach and global energy, but in ways that really locally resonate. So let me give you two examples. In Latin America, the activists I spoke with utilize the messaging from the movement that they're engaged with to get on reality television shows wearing t-shirts of the organization that they work with and promote, and as well as getting characters from telenovelas to produce content for them in spaces that are really religious and really masculine and sort of patriarchal spaces to challenge gender norms and homophobia. And then number two, organizations like Frito-Lay worked with the It Gets Better project to make a rainbow bag of potato chips, or sorry, rainbow Doritos that they sold for $10 a bag, and all proceeds went back to the organization. Within 24 hours, it was sold out, and it was the most successful product launch to date for Frito-Lays. So we see those two energies working synergistically, right, on an international, transnational, global, as well as sort of local base.
Damn.
Damn, girl.
Whoa. So we see activists as strategic communicators having an impact on culture through, popular media and on corporations. Mm-hmm. What does that mean for the people in this room who want to take the power and influence of these activists and use it in their work?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? So, like you guys, I'm passionate about social change and strategic communication. And so what does that look like for us? Oftentimes, organizations want to move the needle on the conversation, but they get it wrong sometimes, right? And I think most recently back to, we were talking about the Kylie Jenner ad with Pepsi and how wrong that, Pepsi got that. And I'm thinking about Dodge and the Super Bowl and how wrong that went, right? But you want to get it right. So here are 3 ways to get it right. Number one is make sure you make a space at the decision-making table for activists, okay? What does that look like? If you're working at HealthCom, it means bringing your activists to the table and participating in the message creation and the message design, okay? Number two, it means listening and not talking. It means surrounding yourselves with people not like yourselves, reading publications that you're not familiar with or that are not in your sort of media repertoire. And it means, number three, being a spoke, rather than recreating the wheel, be a spoke in the wheel, okay? I thought of this metaphor when we were on the phone together. But the idea is that there are coalitions that already exist. There are people that are doing the work that you are already interested in. Join forces and be part of that. And the It Gets Better movement is a great example of that. That started in the United States, in LA, but people and youth got involved and saw energy in that in their respective countries all over the world and harnessed that value and brought it locally and had resonance in their local communities. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thinking of all the change makers, you've already got on many things that they could do differently, but what's one more thing that you wish change makers would be doing differently?
Sure, this is my punchline word, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to bring an intersectional approach to the work that you do, okay? I want you to get as excited as you do about design thinking and framing and message design, but I want you to do it about intersectionality. What does that mean? It means considering the multiple overlapping, intersecting, and often contradictory identities that your various groups that you serve bring to the table. It's thinking about them as complex beings and not just demographics, right? What does it mean to be black and a woman and a lesbian and disabled, right? What are all of those identity categories? How do they impact the work that you as strategic communicators do on behalf of your audiences?
And it's really that thinking. It's not like you actually need to know that every single one of those things.
Absolutely.
When you get in that situation, you have to think like a designer.
Exactly. Yeah, and think intersectionally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm making you hot.
Damn, girl. So what are you doing next?
What am I doing next? So I've got lots of projects, but I'm working on a research trajectory that looks at the movement of activists to a target market to then become sort of a key public audience. And so I'm looking at and doing a book project on that right now for my next sort of line of thinking. Yeah.
Can I get a copy?
And I'm making a baby. My wife is pregnant, so that's also helpful.
Yes!
Yeah, we're clapping for the baby.
I'll take your book, not your baby.
Yeah, I have another one. You can have her.
Great.
Okay, yeah. so I'm busy. But I want to talk, so ask me questions. I know a lot of you did last night at bars and stuff, so.
Erica Ciszek, everybody.